stop working for money. Not because it's wrong, because it's incomplete. There's a version of your life where every dollar you earn is tied directly to your time, hour by hour, day by day, a clean exchange, predictable, understandable. And for a while, that feels normal. You wake up early, even when you don't want to. You go somewhere you didn't choose, to do something you didn't design, for a number someone else decided. And at the end of it, you get paid. That's the agreement. That's the system. And nobody sits you down and explains that this system has a ceiling built into it, not a visible one, not something you can point at, something quieter than that. Because eventually, no matter how efficient you become, no matter how disciplined, how focused, how consistent, you run out of hours. And when that happens, working harder stops working. That's where most people stay. Not because they want to, because they never learned there were levels beyond it. Because money doesn't just change your life. It changes the way you see it. And the way you see yourself inside it. Level 1, $0 to $1,000. This is where everyone starts. Not broke. Not even struggling necessarily. Just unaware. Money is something that happens around you. It comes in, it goes out. You don't track it closely because there's nothing to track. You don't think about leverage or assets or systems. You think about getting through the week. You tell yourself things that feel reasonable. I just need a little more. And the number you imagine is always just slightly above where you are right now. Because you've never experienced what happens when you actually get there. Money feels like a solution at this level. A clean one. Like something that will remove pressure, simplify decisions, create space. You imagine a version of yourself who isn't checking their balance before buying something small. Who doesn't feel that subtle tension every time an unexpected expense appears? You don't realize yet that money doesn't remove pressure. It relocates it. But you're not there yet. Right now, it still feels like the answer. Level 2, $1,000 to $10,000. This is where something shifts. Not dramatically, quietly. You start paying attention. Not because someone told you to, because something doesn't feel right anymore. You notice patterns. People making money in ways you didn't know existed. Online. On their own terms. Without asking permission. And that idea stays with you. You start watching things. Reading things. Thinking in ways you didn't before. You try something. It doesn't matter what. A side hustle. A small investment. A project. Something that feels like a step outside the script. It doesn't go how you expect. Sometimes it works just enough to keep you interested. Mostly it doesn't. But that's not the point. The point is something changed. You stopped seeing money as something fixed and started seeing it as something you might be able to influence. That realization is small, but it's paramount. Because once you see that, you can't unsee it. And now you're in. Level 3, $10,000 to $50,000. This is where it becomes real. Not exciting. Not glamorous. Real. You're working more than before. Thinking more than before. There's a constant background noise in your mind now. Ideas. Plans. Calculations. You start saying no to things. Not dramatically. Not in a way people immediately notice. Just small things. Plans you would have said yes to without thinking a year ago. Messages you don't respond to right away. Moments you quietly step away from. And when people ask why, you don't have a clean answer. Because the real answer sounds strange. Even to you. You're not busy in the normal sense. You're somewhere else. Mentally. Constantly. You see small wins at this level. Inconsistent. Unpredictable. But enough to keep you going. And that's what makes this level dangerous. Hope. Hope stretches time. Makes months feel shorter than they are. Makes effort feel closer to payoff than it really is. Because you're close, but not close enough. And the gap between where you are and where you think you should be starts to feel personal. Level 4, $50,000 to $100,000. This is where expectations break. You reach a number you thought would change everything. And it doesn't, not in the way you imagined. There's no moment, no clear shift, no sudden sense of relief. Just a quiet realization that nothing outside changed as much as you thought it would. But something inside did. The money feels heavier now. Not physically, psychologically, because now it matters. Mistakes cost something real. Decisions carry weight. You think longer before acting. Hesitate where you used to move quickly. And for the first time, you understand something clearly. Making money is one skill. Keeping it is another entirely level. $100,000 to $500,000. This is where the shift becomes internal. You stop chasing money the same way. Not because you don't want it, because you understand it differently. You start thinking in systems. Leverage, time. You see how most people are still trading hours for income, and you quietly step away from that model. Your circle changes. Not through conflict, through distance. Conversations start to feel surface level. Things that used to interest you don't land the same way anymore. You speak less, not because you have nothing to say, because most people won't understand what you would say if you said it fully. And explaining it feels exhausting. So you don't. Level $500,000 to $1 million. This is where things slow down, not externally. Internally, you think less about making money and more about keeping it, protecting it, structuring it. You start dealing with things no one ever mentioned at the beginning. Taxes, risk exposure, long-term decisions that don't have obvious answers. You realize the game never actually ends. It just changes form. And there's a moment here where something becomes clear in a way that's hard to explain. You're not chasing freedom anymore. You're managing it. And that feels different than you expected. Level 7, $1 million plus. This is the level everyone imagines. Very few understand. You have what you thought you wanted. Options, freedom, control over your time. And yet, the feeling you expected never fully arrives. Not because something is missing, because something changed. You did. The urgency fades. The excitement fades. The hunger that pushed you through the earlier levels doesn't feel the same anymore. And in its place is something quieter, more stable, clarity. You see money for what it actually is. Not a goal, not a finish line, just a tool. One that solved problems and created new ones. Somewhere right now, someone is at level 1. Thinking money will fix everything. Thinking more is the answer. They don't see the levels yet. They don't understand what it takes or what it changes, but they will, because anyone who stays in the game long enough eventually does. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe.